Gardens of Freedom. True. The story of a soldier in a war zone. Long ago, in the heart of a war zone, stood a soldier named Captain James Smith. He wasn't the biggest or the strongest, but his unwavering determination and devotion to freedom set him apart. Captain Smith saw it all, the stress, fear, and constant misery of the war zone. His journey began when he enlisted in the army with a strong sense of duty to protect his country and his people. Little did he know what amazing things would unfold during his time on the front lines. One of Captain Smith's most memorable moments occurred during an operation to rescue a group of civilians trapped in a war village. He led his people with honesty and courage as the gun echoed through the narrow streets. During the crisis, he met a girl named Amina, who was trapped in fear in a shabby house. Amina's eyes expressed the pain and uncertainty she was experiencing. Captain, patiently holding his hand, Smith set off safely to a nearby location. This encounter gave him a strange feeling and strengthened his belief that they were more than soldiers. They are soldiers. They are the guardians of freedom and the protectors of the innocent. While serving in the military, Captain Smith faced many challenges, from intense combat to bonding moments with his fellow soldiers. All of these experiences make him a seasoned soldier dedicated to upholding the values of freedom and justice. The story of a soldier from the war zone chronicles the journey of Captain James Smith and shows the sacrifices made by soldiers like him who risk their lives for the greater good. Through the lens of Captain Smith's experience, the film pays tribute to the unsung freedom fighters who fought in the war zone to have a happy and safe future for all. As Captain Smith continues his mission, he finds himself tasked with an important mission that will test the limits of his patience and devotion to freedom. Intelligence has shown that a very useful purpose is hidden behind the enemy's power. This job requires not only the ability to succeed, but also the courage to meet people you don't know. The night before going on a mission, Captain Smith gathered his crew for a brief conversation. The atmosphere is tense, but the soldiers are careful to protect the country. Each member of the team has a unique story that proves their resilience in the face of adversity. Captain Smith's leadership becomes a leader by infiltrating enemy territory, evading rebellion and evading detection. His calm demeanor and determination keep the team focused on the mission, even in the midst of danger. When they discover that a valuable target is not just an enemy face, but a scientist working on a new project, suddenly the lines between right and wrong blur and Captain Smith faces a moral dilemma. Should he blindly follow or consider the consequences of his actions for the greater good? In a difficult moment of reflection, Captain Smith chooses the importance of humanity over blindness. Knowing that sometimes defenders of true freedom have to make difficult decisions that go against the norms of war, he created the idea of rescuing scientists to safety. The rescue mission is accomplished with truth, and the once enemy scientist becomes a thoughtful friend in the quest for world justice and peace. Captain Smith's ability to transcend the current conflict demonstrates the complexity of war and the small decisions most soldiers face. Gardens of Freedom. A soldier's story from the war zone ends with Captain James Smith's journey, which shows that the war zone is not a battle of living bodies, but a testing ground for the morality of the people. The defendant's responsibility to protect freedom. The film honors the story of soldiers like Captain Smith, who faced the challenges of war with courage, compassion, and uncompromising devotion to the public good they love. As Captain Smith's journey continues, the decisions he makes cause chaos in the ranks and earn him the respect and admiration of his friends. The mission to save the scientists translates into a shift not just in ideas, but in the collective. They know that being a defender of freedom requires not only physical strength, but also moral integrity. This video examines the camaraderie forged in the crucible of war and showcases the bonds formed between soldiers as they face adversity together. Captain Smith's leadership is characterized by insight and strategic thinking that fosters a sense of unity in the team. Their shared experiences, both painful and joyful, strengthen their determination to protect them. There is a disturbing story of a soldier named Ramirez who was injured during the conflict and separated from his team. Despite the crisis, Captain Smith embodies the spirit of a true outlaw, risking his own safety to ensure Ramirez escapes. This dedication resonates with team members and reinforces the idea that they are more than just soldiers. They are a brotherhood dedicated to protecting freedom. The video transitions to dramatic audio as Captain Smith's deployment nears its end. Interviews with fellow soldiers reveal the lasting impact of their time together. The stories paint a true picture of the challenges they faced, the sacrifices they made, and the struggles that defined their journey. The movie ends with Captain Smith returning home. The war zone is now a distant memory, but lessons were learned and relationships were formed at his heart. The title Defenders of Freedom in the War Zone summarizes the essence of the film. It is a tribute to the countless soldiers who, like Captain Smith, are not defenders of their country, but watch over the world's goals of freedom, justice, and humanity. After Captain Smith returned home, the depression in the war zone gradually subsided, but the memories remained. He found solace in the presence of veterans, knowing that his brothers were constantly at war on the battlefield. The experience of sacrifice and perseverance has become part of his identity, shaping his perspective on life and inspiring his desire to do good for the world. The final scenes of the film show Captain Smith's transition to civilian life, translating the skills and values he acquired throughout his career into measures to promote peace, behavior, and understanding. He continues to inspire the guardians of freedom through social media, educational programs, or humanitarian efforts. The final montage offers glimpses into Captain Smith's life after the war, family gatherings, social events, and moments of quiet reflection. His story has become a symbol of hope, showing that even after conflict ends, people can help build a better, more peaceful world. The film ends with these ironic words: "Wars may be like us, but they do not define us. As defenders of freedom, our mission extends beyond the battlefield, sowing the seeds of peace and ensuring that sacrifice is never in vain." The screen fades to black, leaving the viewer grateful for the unknowns that remain. Create a bright future after the war.